You are listening to Free Sentence a Minute, an adult podcast for those that are 18 or older.
If you're not 18, shut this the bloop off.
It's all about sex, sex, sex. Sex, sex, sex. It's all about sex, sex, sex. It's all about it.
Hello, everybody. This is Kelly from Free Sentence a Minute, and I just had to say that I thoroughly enjoyed listening to my sweet Maggie's podcast the other day, and oh yeah, if you have not checked out our YouTube channel, go do that, like right away. Like right now. Just pause this podcast and go to youtube.com/Free Sentence a Minute. Fucking kick-ass. It really is. So, Maggie said some things last week that just actually, made me stop and think, and I will kind of come to a point. I have a bit of a rant today. Yes, a Kelly rant. And we'll get to that. But first, relationships over the phone being healthy is absolutely true. You can explore so much about yourself and your sexuality when it's a little bit more anonymous. There are things that you may say to someone that you wouldn't even say to your spouse or to one of your best friends. I mean, because sex is that intimate. Oh yeah. And whenever Maggie started talking about the interruptions that we get, I'm so pretty in my sweet little lingerie. Hello, this is Supervisor John. Right away. We was like that, and that is so absolutely, completely true, that the rule is to just go quiet. I mean, if someone in the office picks up the phone, a kid picks up the phone, a babysitter, a wife, a colleague, anyone, you just shut up because you don't know who's going to be on the other end of that phone. As soon as you hear noise, you're quiet. And so that's a little bit about what my rant is about today, though. No, it's fucking absolutely what my rant is about today. Quiet. When a guy gets interrupted, or there's clearly something going on, or I'm asked to hold on, sure, I'll be quiet. I should be. That is the rule. However, when you call me to have phone sex with me, don't be quiet. So that's a bit about my deal today, my issue, and I'll get around to why. Now, but first, there's a stereotype, I think, about men, that men call phone sex lines and they're all full of bravado and they're stroking their, as Maggie put it, perfect mushroom-headed, thick 8-inch cocks with their tan perfect bodies and Brad Pitt-like hair, right? Yeah, that's how I imagine them anyway. Isn't that true? But it's true. Not all guys are like that. Just like not all women, can be as hot as me. And I'm fucking serious about that. Just ask Maggie. She'll tell you the truth. But my rant is stemming from a call that I took last week. And it was a very, very, and I got just a very, very little bit of information from one of our dispatch people. And he told me, this guy is a little bit shy. He wants you to call him John. And he is looking for an older, strict type seductress. And I figured, okay, so he's shy. I can get him through that. And a strict seductress. Okay, so do I want to be a little bit more dominant on that? Or do I want to be a little bit more just sort of firm and aggressive? You know what I mean? So that time between when I'm talking to the person who's actually passing the call on to me and the time when that call actually connects is, I don't know, about 10, 15, 20 seconds, not even sometimes. But it just gives you that time to kind of think and get into character and really do everything that you have to do. Couple deep breaths, couple deep breaths, and you're ready to go, really. So I'm thinking, okay, strict seductress. Okay, I'm ready. I'm good. So I say, hey there, this is Kelly. How are you? I hear that you want me to call you John. How are you, John? And that's what I get back. So very much like Maggie said, there could be anything going on at this point. He could have not connected. He could have hung up the phone. There could be connectivity issues. There could be all sorts of things. So I press a couple of buttons on my computer that actually let me see that no, he is indeed connected, and he's there. And that's fine. We were not disconnected. And so I say, John, are you there? Because I don't want you to get charged for this. So just, maybe you're in a place where you can't really. So just say yes or no if you're there. And he says, yes, I'm shy. Now just seduce me strictly. Okay. Really? There was barely a whisper or an explanation from anyone. And I have to tell you, this call was bought for 60 minutes. And honestly, I died a little bit inside. I really did, because I'm looking at the clock. And it was 11 o'clock at night. And I was thinking, you know what? I was almost ready to be done for the night. Now I have to go until midnight. I'm kind of sleepy, and I was thinking that, one last call would really be great and fun and would send me to bed in a nice horny mood. And now I have no idea where to go with this. Now I've had calls like this before, where there's barely a whisper or any kind of communication to get you started. No explanation, nothing, just dead silence on the phone. I get it. A shy caller will barely talk. And you know what? That's fine as long as you know it up front, and maybe you've done an instant message or you've emailed back and forth. But to just be, bam, cold, it's crazy. And I'm going to give you 15 seconds of silence just so you know what it feels like. And I really do hope that you get uncomfortable, especially you guys out there who are hoping to do phone sex. Just want you to know what it feels like for us. Ready? Let's go. All right, that was 15 seconds of silence. Imagine 60 minutes of silence. Well, really, though, it's not silence. It's just not saying anything. It would be like, when you have to wait on hold, where you're on the phone with, the computer consulting company that's been outsourced 6 times to India, and you're on hold, and you're finding it to be a battle of wills at this point, where you've been hearing the same elevator music for the past 45 minutes, and you damn well are not hanging up now because you've committed. You are committed, and you are on that phone. That's what these calls feel like. And if I can just rant about them for a second, I really, really need to. Because, fuck, just stop that, guys. I mean, this is what I talk about all the time. This is what I love. This is what I do. Aside from my other job. But this is what I do, and I'm good at it. And it's so much better when a guy can kind of talk. Can communicate somewhat. Now, there are exceptions. If, it's a certain type of role play where in that role play the guy would be, I don't know, maybe just kind of my captive or something like that, and I have him gagged and duct taped and silent, or else he's in trouble, and all he does is maybe go, something like that, screaming through his ball gag or whatever I have him in. There are those kinds of things. But there's still that level of interaction. So, I'm going to give some advice for people who are considering phone sex. Because if you're shy, that's all good and fine. But, man, give us something to work with. And I think these tips might help you because Really, this is what I'm good at. I love hearing, even guys who are shy, just that bravery that it takes to call. I have a lot of respect for that. I really, really do. But if you just call and make me question what I'm doing for an hour, all that's going to do is frustrate me. And honestly, you're not going to get my best call ever. You're really not. So in order for that to happen, I'm not saying that it won't be a good call. It just won't be as good as it could be because there's no communication and we can't really talk about if I'm doing anything wrong. So if I'm strictly seducing this guy and I'm doing things one way and he's really envisioning that I'm doing them another way, that's an issue because in his head, the fantasy is not coming together. And in my head, because there's no connection because he's fucking silent, it's just not working for me either. So let's talk about ways to handle yourself if you are nervous about making a phone sex call so that you are not really quiet. Because that does get so uncomfortable. So I really want guys to be comfortable. Think of this as your little primer for phone sex. Get yourself comfortable and be kind of in your own place. And